All right, welcome back. We're back in our Bible study series, John or Lazarus, who wrote the fourth gospel. And this is episode 18, the two Bethanys in the gospel. And just as a note in this series, we have proved, in my opinion, that the fourth gospel was definitely written by Lazarus and not by the apostle John. This video is just another bonus, something I caught a little bit recently. If you want to check out the entire playlist, I'll have a link to that at the end. And the purpose of today's video, we're going to consider why the disciple whom Jesus loved, again, who I believe is Lazarus, he's the only gospel writer who mentions that John the Baptist was baptizing in a place named Bethany. And some advice here, this is the only reason I caught this, is that we need to read different translations of the Bible. I myself have been just a New King James guy for the most of the time, but recently I've been listening to the NASB, and I'm not telling you which translation to listen to or to not, but just you need to have different translations to listen to because you might catch something. So when you find a difference, check out the reason for that difference. You might be surprised to discover the reason for the inconsistency, which is exactly what happened when I was looking at this. So was it Bethany or Bethabara where John was baptizing? I got this information from, just online Bible commentary, and they're all pretty consistent. And they say that, if your Bible says Bethabara, which again, my version I usually listen to says, if it says Bethabara beyond the Jordan, it should be Bethany beyond the Jordan. And this was kind of troubling to me. This is why I found out why some Bibles say Bethabara. It says that Origen, an early church father, he found that Bethany in almost all copies was there, but not being able to find the place, meaning Bethany, he came to the conclusion that it must be Bethabara, which he heard of with a local tradition that John had baptized there. And in this, he is followed by the fathers generally. So again, this troubles me. I don't know if you're okay with this, but an early church father, I don't know, Origen, maybe a couple hundred years after, or, he comes to the conclusion that it can't be Bethany because he didn't know of the place. And he just goes with tradition, and then people just carry that on. And again, many of your Bible translations say Bethabara, but it should be Bethany. So even if you don't agree with the conclusion that I'm going to make in this video, at least you got a little bit of free Bible study advice right there. So the references to Bethany in the fourth gospel, this is early on in the first chapter of the fourth gospel. It says, these things took place in Bethany beyond the Jordan, where John was baptizing people. And in the fourth gospel, again, later on in chapter 11, it says, now a certain man was sick, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. And a few verses later, it says, now Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 15 stadia away. So consider here, the gospel's author, Lazarus, whose hometown is named Bethany, is making a distinction between these two Bethanys because we know that they're not the same place, they're too far apart. So the other gospel writers, because they're not from a town called Bethany, they have no interest at all in mentioning that John was baptizing at a place called Bethany. It's of no significance to them. So the place name is only significant to someone who has ties to a town with the same name. Lazarus of Bethany would have such a concern. So again, Lazarus of Bethany wrote the fourth gospel. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. And as always, until next time, contend earnestly for the faith which was once for all delivered to the saints, and God bless.